Hey there friends, many of you have asked about cooking videos and that I do a little bit more of that type of content here on Legally Armed America. And I'm going to push some of that content over to my other channel, The Bacon Report. I want to make sure you guys know to go over there. First of all, what I'm going to do today, because you guys have asked about the cooking content, I'm going to share with you guys one of the things that I like to do more than anything, and that is to cook on my ceramic grill, my Kamado grill. People call them different things. Essentially, it's a ceramic grill itself that has a firebox inside, and it uses lump charcoal. You've probably seen the lump charcoal in the stores if you don't already cook on that type of grill. So it's a totally different type of cooking. I'll get more into the science of the grills, how they became developed over time and really perfected over time. Some of the brands have done a really good job. This is my second Primo grill. The first one I ever started grilling with was much bigger than this. It was actually too big for my 3-person family here. I found myself separating the grill because you can section it off a little bit inside. This one here is my third grill that I've gotten. I had an Icon grill. I think Icon and Vision were the same company. They just changed their branding a little bit. So I went from a Primo, a very large Primo, to an Icon, and now back to a Primo. And I've had this one for several years. In fact, there's a lot of things about this Primo grill that I'm not real fond of, and I'll show that while I'm cooking today. You will obviously see that. First thing I'm going to do is, a lot of the charcoal in here can still be used. That's the beauty of these types of pits, is that you can reuse a lot of your whole lump charcoal that stays in there. But what you want to do is get that ash out of the bottom. Most of these, I think all of them, have some kind of way to get your ashes out of the bottom without taking all the charcoal out. So it's just a door in the bottom of it that I'll use to pull all that old ash out. If you don't do that and it's starting to build up in there, that will inhibit and change your airflow. And airflow is probably the most important thing, other than the actual structure of the grill. The flow of air and your vent system is the most important thing about these types of grills. So you don't want to mess that up by leaving all your ash in the bottom. I clean mine out each time I barbecue, especially the hotter like if you grilled steaks, that's usually going to burn hotter and burn more of your charcoal up. So you're going to end up having more ashes. If you cook at a lower temperature, you're going to have less ashes. I think it's kind of a trade-off. Sometimes you cook at a lower temperature for long periods of time, and you may end up burning the same amount of charcoal. But anyway, my point is, you want to make sure you keep that airway kind of clean, because that's how you manage your temperature. So I'm just going to show you some of the tips that I'm doing today. I'm going to be grilling some chicken thighs, some alligator sausage, some alligators that myself and David Griffin shot with Merino Outfitters, Ryan and Nick. So some of the sausages that we produced from that hunt this past fall, and I think I've got some bread and some boudin, some brisket boudin, and then some regular boudin. You'll notice some of the old lump charcoal that I was able to save from the last time I grilled. And of course, I just put a little bit more on top. Obviously, the newer stuff is going to light a little bit faster, because I do believe the older charcoal sometimes contains a little bit of moisture in it and may take a little bit longer. But once you get that fire started, it will light up just fine. So one way that I like to start my grill, and I don't even know that it's recommended, is that this is a different type of fire starter. I think a lot of times you have the blocks or the cubes, things you can set in there and it will burn. I like to use this better. You can see at the tip of it right there, the manufacturer, I think, says you don't put the actual tip into the charcoal, that you stay back a little bit. Not me. I'm too impatient. I put that sucker in there. I go through about one of these a year. They're pretty cheap, about 30 bucks for each one. I jam it down in there, get that thing heated up real good. I try to start kind of down low a little bit, because I feel like the lower you are getting that fire started, with heat rising and the fire rising, well, it's going to naturally come up and light the rest of them above it anyway. Super fast way to light, probably, within a couple of minutes tops, you probably got your fire started. You'll hear it start to snap and pop here in a second. There it goes right there. I already see a couple of coals down there. There we go, under a minute. And I just let that thing go. And then I'll change direction to get some of the other coals started, but it will eventually catch the whole thing. See, I could probably just stop now. See, that's my fire right there. But I'll angle it a little bit to get some of the other ones. Whatever direction you point it is the direction, obviously, that it's going to light. And it's kind of like frying bacon with no shirt on. A lot of times out by the pool you might not want to have a shirt on, but I put one on here because this thing snaps and cracks. That's pretty much it. And then I'll just push the rest of my coals over that flame. And you don't have to blow it either. Like, you know, sometimes you want to blow on your grill. If you notice your coals are going down a little bit, you could actually just turn this thing on and it blows enough. So you just get it close to it. You don't have to uncover everything, and it'll get that thing going again. Really, really handy little fire starters here. I love them. So I'm going to show y'all one of the main reasons why I'm getting rid of this grill. And it's pretty simple, and it's been doing this since the day that I got this. See that? This is the vent that goes on top. The screw right there that holds it on. From day one, or on day one, that screw broke. And it broke out of this metal right here. So it can't be put back on without ordering this whole piece right here. I'd reached out to Primo. No bueno. The customer service seems pretty bad on the Primos. Day one. And get this. I was a dealer of these in my store. I was a dealer. And I couldn't get them to send me one of these. Not smart. A new grill will not be a Primo. So for me, this was an odd day grilling. I had made a small change to my grill and didn't think anything of it. And while most of this on here looks pretty good, you'll notice some charred ends on some of the chicken and some overdone parts. That's not normal on this grill, at least not whenever I grill, because these grills are so effective and good at maintaining a set heat, and I couldn't figure out why some of the chicken was being overcooked. My next video will show you why that is, and I made that change. Also, be on the lookout for my brand new grill that I got coming up in the next week or so.